Chapter 2, Gabby. Clearing out boxes became a habit for Kyle and me for the next 4 days. Most of the items inside the boxes had been placed in their designated rooms or spots. It helped that we didn't have much stuff to begin with. We agreed to start fresh, minus Kyle's living room furniture, kitchen table, and his bed that's still in good shape, considering he'd hardly slept in it until we started dating. When Tuesday arrives, our personal cars have been delivered, courtesy of a service Kyle hired before we moved, and Kyle is standing by the door with the handle of his suitcase in hand. You'd think I'd be used to him coming and going, but I'm not, especially now that he will be so far away for work. For lack of better words, I consider him my other half, so there's always an empty feeling when he's gone. Not to mention this big, new house will be way too quiet without him around. I'll see you in 3 days, he says, tossing his suitcase in the trunk. He steps in front of me, planting a kiss on my lips. I'll be here waiting. I lean into him as he wraps a hand around my waist. You'll keep the bed warm for me? I giggle. Sure will. Good. With one more swift kiss, Kyle lets me go and turns for his BMW. He sends me a wink after hopping into the car, and I watch him pull out of our driveway, giving the horn a small beat before passing the palm trees along the curb of our house. When I can no longer see him, I sigh, taking a look around the front yard in detail this time. It's immaculate. Dark gray cobblestone leads up to the roundabout driveway. Palm trees and bushes are lined up outside of it that truly do block the view for anyone to see what's going on in front of our house. The driveway is designed on a short hill, so one would have to drive up to leave it or walk down to get to our front door. It almost represents a home in Beverly Hills or Malibu. Funny, as a little girl I used to obsess over the revamped version of 90,210, wishing I could live their life. Now, in my own special way, I am living that life, minus all the drama and gossip. I look up at the sky. It's mostly clear, blue, with hardly any clouds around. It'd be the perfect day to lounge in the backyard and sunbathe. Not too hot. The perfect temperature. Walking down the steps of the porch, I make my way up the driveway to check the mailbox. There is one piece of junk mail from a plumbing company. Make sure you grab the mulch too. I hear a voice yell across the street. I glance over, noticing a black pickup truck in front of the home across the street from us. The words Ward Landscaping and Design are stamped on the door. A blonde in a purple dress and black pumps walks down her driveway, meeting up with the men. She points at a few spots in her yard, and one of the men, sporting a thick beard and raven hair, nods his head, says something to her, and then meets the men in the yard to get to work. She goes to her mailbox, taking out her mail. I start to turn, but catch her eye along the way. Oh. Hi, neighbor. She yells across the street, waving wildly. I turn back, smiling and waving. Hi. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get a good look at you. She trots across the street with her mail in hand, swishing her hips a little too much. Oh my goodness, look at you. She beams at me, her teeth a stunning white. Your husband wasn't kidding, you're gorgeous. You've met my husband? I ask, continuing a smile. Sure did, just yesterday. She taps me on the shoulder with her mail. Mrs. Bertha next door was out here chatting with him when I pulled up. I jumped in to say hello to him. I heard we would be getting new neighbors soon. She looks me up and down, but not in a critical way, more like admiring what she sees. You're so young. She exclaims, and I just keep smiling, because not smiling is impolite. And beautiful, flawless skin. That's naturally curly hair, I bet. Cute bust and hips and still petite. Honey, you are the full package, aren't you? I laugh as she does. Thank you. I point at the men across the street, steering the subject a different direction because the way she's looking at me is slightly uncomfortable now, almost like she wants to jump right into my skin. What are those guys working on for you over there? Oh, one of my trees is dying for some reason, so they're replacing it and also adding more mulch around the garden to make up for it. She plants a hand on her hip, turning halfway to look at the men, who are already stained with sweat. The humidity will do that to you. Between you and me, I wanted the tree gone, but my husband insisted that I call them and get it replaced. I thought the owner would show, He normally does for these sort of mishaps, but not today. Must be busy. Do you know the owner well? Oh. She sighs dreamily, a smile pasted on her face. Honey, I wish I did. She giggles, and it hits me that this woman isn't dressed up to go to work or a day out. She dressed up in hopes she'd run into the owner. I'm not sure what that says about her, but she's pleasant, and I don't know what her home life is like, so who am I to judge? Anyway, I saw your husband leaving. Is he headed to work? Yeah, out of town for the next 3 days. Oh, bummer. Those days when they're gone are always the worst. Bill works out of town a lot, too. Does architectural designs for commercial places, so locations always vary. She huffs. Oh, that's cool. Kyle runs an investment banking company in New York. I don't know why I tell her that, but I figure since she's sharing her husband's occupation, I should share mine too. That's amazing. I was actually looking into having someone do our backyard. It's nice, but I want to liven it up, make it a place I'd actually like to hang out. Not only that, but we're thinking about having a housewarming in a few months or so to break it in. Oh, honey, hire Ward Landscaping. I'm telling you, the owner is a genius. He has a great eye, and he's efficient and quick. Everyone around here uses him. Ask Mrs. Bertha and Mr. Hull. I'm sure he's made himself a pretty penny landscaping all of our houses. I will have to look into them. Thank you for the recommendation. Oh, no problem. Just let him know I sent you. I didn't catch your name, I say, realizing how rude of me it is to not have asked when she first trotted over. Oh, I'm Meredith Aarons. And yours? Gabrielle Moore, but most people call me Gabby. Well, Gabby, it was a pleasure meeting you. Same to you, I smile again, and she turns, waving goodbye as she rushes back across the street. Oh, no. Wait. She yells at the landscapers. That's not the color mulch I wanted. Do you have something darker? I laugh on my way back to the house, shutting the door behind me and going to the kitchen to make a cup of mint green tea. After it's made, I walk around the corner to get to my studio, where my laptop is. I type Ward Landscaping into the search bar of Google and the company pops up as an ad first, and then as the first search result. Well, someone has good advertising skills, I mumble to myself. I click on the website, and it pulls up a beautifully designed website. The background of the website is a wooden design, and there are several square photos of large pools, well-laid backyards, colorful gardens, decks with fire pits, and shrubbery. I click on the About page next. It's been a habit of mine for as long as I can remember. I always like to know who I'm searching or looking into before getting deeper, but there's not much there. It only mentions that the owner of the company, Marcel Ward, started Ward Landscaping and Design 5.5 years ago, and that the company is known for both residential and commercial landscaping. The phone number and email are listed at the bottom of the page. On his website he has several tab sections, one for outdoor living, pool and spa design, and of course landscaping. I jump to the portfolio next and scroll through, clicking on the images that catch my eye the most. The gardens are my favorite. The array of colorful flowers lures me in so much that I'm pretty much sold on the idea of hiring them. Although Kyle makes most of the household money, I do some work from home. I teach classes online, and sell my art. I also saved most of the money Kyle gave me when we dated and he wanted me to treat myself. Considering all this, I think I can afford some of the remodeling on the backyard and maybe I can surprise him with it. I'm sure he'd love it, plus he loves being outside. Not only that, but this Ward guy has a financing option. After doing some more searching for landscape designers in the area, I only come across one, but his website is really basic, and there isn't much information about the company. Now I see why my brother, Ricky, is always insisting that having a nicely designed website is important. It only makes sense to choose the Ward company over this other one. Screw it, I mutter, and go back to Ward Landscaping, copying the email address and pasting it into the address bar. I send the company a short email about what I've been looking for and how I hope they have some openings. I also mention that my neighbor highly recommends him, hoping it'll give me footing in the door, and then hit the send button. I check a few of my emails afterward. Some are from the students in the seminar, sending me shots of their works in progress. I give a few of them a proper response with a little feedback. As I'm finishing an email, my computer dings. The notification reads, "Email from Marcel Ward, CEO of Ward Landscaping and Design." Holy shit. That was fast. This guy means business. I clicked the notification bubble, making a mental note to get back to the email I was working on. "Hey there, Mrs. Moore. I'm glad you reached out to me about your project. I'm certain I can accommodate whatever needs you have for your backyard. I must be frank, I'm only responding to this email so quickly because I am at the dentist, a place I really can't stand, waiting for my appointment, and saw this notification pop up. I am much better on the phone. Will you be available to speak at noon? Thanks, Marcel Ward, CEO of Ward Landscaping and Design." I smirked at his comment about the dentist. Witty. That's good. He's not some serious asshat I have to be awkward around. I give him a quick response. "Hello, Mr. Ward. Well, I thank you for getting back to me so quickly. A phone call would be much more convenient, that way I can really explain." "Noon sounds great. You can call me at 212-907-0486, but if that time doesn't work out, I'm available for the rest of the day, so feel free to call at any time." Best, Gabrielle Moore. After I finish up the email to my student, I close my laptop, polish off my tea, and then head back to the kitchen. With a humph, I sit on the stool, looking around the empty kitchen. There's so much to do, yet I'm not motivated to do any of it right now. Without Kyle around, it is never the same. Unfortunately, for the next 3 days, I'm on my own. Instead of moping, I write down a list of groceries and other things we need. I should get to know the area better anyway, so after freshening up and changing into better clothes, I stuff the list in my purse, grab my keys off the hook, and head to the garage. With GPS, I can find anything I need. My problem with shopping? I always end up coming out with more than I'd written down on the list. I only needed the essentials, like toilet paper, water bottles, and a shower curtain, but of course I stopped by the snack aisle, the wine aisle, and many others, until my cart was full. I stuffed most of the bags in the trunk of my Challenger, but they don't all fit, so I grabbed the remaining bags and dropped them in the passenger seat. As I shut the door, my phone buzzes and I dig in my back pocket for it. I don't know the number, but it's a South Carolina area code, leaving no doubt it's the guy from landscaping company. "Hello?" I answer, pushing my red cart to the nearest station. "Hey, is this Mrs. Moore?" Wow, his accent is not what I was expecting. I don't think I've ever heard a southern accent so thick. "This is she," I reply, keeping the remark about his accent to myself. "Hey, Mrs. Moore. This is Marcel of Ward Landscaping and Design. Is this a good time?" "Hey, yes, right now is fine. Just left the store. So glad you called." I rush back to my car, getting inside. I've already broken a sweat from the heat. "Of course," he replies. "So, what exactly is it you're looking for?" "Well, we just moved into our new home. We have a pretty spacious backyard, but there isn't much back there for us to enjoy, so I figured I'd look into sprucing it up. The only issue is I'd prefer that it's finished before we host our housewarming in a couple of weeks." Describe a couple weeks? "I'd say within 4 weeks, while the idea of our move is still fresh in people's minds." I know it's asking a lot, but I'm hopeful. "Well, Mrs. Moore, I'd have to say that is a little too soon, considering you mentioned wanting a hot tub as well." He chuckles. "Really?" I bite into my lower lip. "So you don't think you'll be able to do it?" "Well, it depends on the size of your yard, for one. Also depends on all you want included. If you're looking to have hard landscaping, I'd have to set up a consultation with you to map out a design for the yard space and figure out which package you'd like to go along with the space. We have a variety of packages that fit many budgets." "Well, that's good to hear. Maybe I can draw a design I have in mind, if it helps." "That's always helpful. Go for it." I push start the engine. "How long does it usually take for you to design and create the actual layout?" "To design it, no more than a day or two, as long as you have your blueprints on hand so I can plan with those. As for creating the layout, it all depends on your needs. My average time frame for a full patio with stones, concrete, and all those things is between 4 to 6 weeks. 10 max, if the homeowner is looking to add a pool, bar, or anything else. Okay, well, when do you think we can set up a consultation to discuss it? I really would like the hot tub. I checked my schedule before Colin. I'm available tomorrow morning from 9 to 11, then I have to leave town for a commercial job. Would 9:30 tomorrow morning work for you? 9:30 sounds great, Mr. Ward. I'll text you my address. Okay. Sounds good, Mrs. Moore. See you tomorrow. Yep. Bye. After sending him my address, I head home with a car full of groceries and a big smile on face.